Alright, so we have some spoilers today for Year 2 Volume 12. We have a lot of spoilers actually, and I've taken a look at most of them, and let me just say, this is insane. This volume not only met my expectations, but it also surpassed them, well, in certain areas. There were other aspects that I was kind of disappointed in, but we'll get to that. So before we get into the spoilers, I want to go back to my previous video that I made on Year 2 Volume 12 where I gave my speculations, and I just want to confirm how many of my theories were actually verified in this volume. So if you remember, each class competes against each other with 3 positions, Vanguard, Middle Guard, and General, and each class must have some substitutes. I thought Ichinose was going to be a substitute. He was in fact not a substitute, he was the General for Horikita's class. I did kind of think he would be the General, I just didn't think Hinogasa would put him in such an important position this early on, but at the same time, this is the final special exam for the second year, and Ichinose has already been showing some of his abilities, so this is basically him just letting everyone know that, hey, I'm not like you guys. Next up, I said Ryuuen would make Katsuragi the General and play a lower position to take off the lower ranking students who played the lesser positions. That was wrong as well. Ryuuen was the General and I think Katsuragi was the Middle Guard, I'm not sure. But I was correct about Ichinose choosing Kanzaki, and there was something else that I was right about. In my video, I said now would be the best time for Mizuno to make an appearance, and she did in fact make an appearance, and something else happened. We'll talk about that later, but let me just say I'm so happy to have my theory on Mizuno be confirmed. People were even tagging me and saying, yo, this is Mizuno, she's here. It was a good feeling. Okay, so now let's get into the rest of the translations. Okay, so let's start with Ichinose being the General. Okay, so apparently he wasn't originally going to be the General, but when he did, it came with conditions. The first being that if Horikita won without needing Ayanokoji's help, he would promise to assist her in the future with all of his power. The second condition is that if Ayanokoji had to step in as the General to help her, he would not assist her anymore in the future, similar to what Koenji is doing. The third condition is that if Ayanokoji came out and helped as the General and they still lost, then he would assist Horikita with his full power for half a year. Okay, so now we have the students of each class and the positions they played. For Ryuen's class, it was Ryuuen, Katsuragi, and Nishino. For Ichinose's class, it was Ichinose, Kanzaki, and Hamaguchi. For Sakayanagi's class, it was Sakayanagi, Kito, and Sanada. And for Horikita's class, it was Ayanokoji, Horikita, and Hirata. So I was right that Hirata was included, and it seems like the strategy that I mentioned in using a stronger figure as the General, while the actual class leader steps down to a lesser position, is what Horikita used instead of Ryuuen. So it seems like I'm really tapped in with this series. There's also a moment in the volume where Ayanokoji is approached by Haruka, who wants to reconcile their friendship, but they are interrupted by Amasawa, and she thanks Ayanokoji for stopping her from harming Nagumo in Year 2 Volume 11. And Ayanokoji also tells her there's something he wants her to do. He wants her to continue to investigate Nanase's true intentions. So now let's get into the good part of the translations. One of the highlights in this volume is that Horikita challenges Ichinose and she lost horribly. So the rules of the exam are a bit ambiguous at the moment because we don't have proper translations for it. Apparently it's something like a guessing game where representatives of a class are meant to guess the roles of other representatives in other classes, which sounds simplistic, but apparently the rules to this game were a lot more complicated than they appear. So Horikita lost to Ichinose, but after that something more insane happens. So after Horikita lost to Ichinose, she started crying, which is understandable. She tried her best and got defeated, so it's fine if she gets emotional, but that's not even the craziest part. While Horikita is crying, Ayanokoji hugs her. He consoles her right in front of Ichinose, and when Ichinose smiles at him, he looks at her with a deadpan blank expression. That's still not even the craziest part. Later in the exam, Ichinose goes up against Ayanokoji, and Ayanokoji tells her that he has been manipulating her the entire time. And he also tells her that the person who exposed her for shoplifting wasn't Sakayanagi, but himself, essentially just emphasizing that he was just using her the entire time. And because of this revelation, Ichinose breaks down and Ayanokoji beats her. So the reason why Ayanokoji did this was not only to win, but also because he's realized that Ichinose has changed and grown significantly, especially mentally, thanks to him. And so he wants to know if he reveals to her that he is not the savior that she makes him out to be, what will her response be and how will she function after that? Do you see what I mean when I said this volume exceeded my expectations? This is just insane. So does Ayanokoji not plan to transfer to Ichinose's class, or is he just gonna be an asshole and break her heart and transfer to her class anyways? Yeah, this is insane, but let me stop beating around the bush and get to the moment that you've all been waiting for. Ryuuen versus Sakayanagi. The battle that everyone has eagerly been waiting for. The battle that will significantly impact the story regardless of who gets expelled. And the winner of this battle is nobody.
I beg your pardon?
Excuse me?
Yeah, so this was the aspect of the story that I was disappointed in, because how this ended up happening is very complicated and unnatural, and I just don't understand how this is the decision that Kinugasa chose. We don't have that many translations, but I'll try my best to explain given what I have so far. So at first, Ayanokoji visited Ryuuen, and the purpose of this visit is that he wanted to advise Ryuuen to not play any dirty tricks in the special exam. He wanted Ryuuen to approach the exam head-on without using any of his usual unorthodox methods. And apparently later on in the exam, when Ryuuen and Sakayanagi were battling each other, Ryuuen didn't lose yet. He still had one life left, but he admitted defeat. But at the very last moment, Hashimoto delivers a message to Sakayanagi from Ayanokoji, and Ayanokoji asks Sakayanagi to give up. Sakayanagi understands the message almost immediately. So basically, Ayanokoji was telling Sakayanagi that he wants to battle Ryuuen in the 3rd year, and if she defeats him now and gets him expelled, that will affect her battle with Ayanokoji, because Ayanokoji won't battle her with his full determination. And after understanding this, Sakayanagi forfeited the match, basically meaning both of them lost. But at the end of the volume, Ryuuen says even though they both lost, there was still a clear winner and a clear loser. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like this. If you're gonna set up a battle between two characters with expulsion as the stakes, and in the end you're just not gonna follow through with having any of them drop out, then what was the point of doing it in the first place? It's just bad writing, and that's such a lame half-assed excuse as well to have Hashimoto deliver the message. Because didn't Sakayanagi say she wanted to see Ayanokoji's face after she thwarted his plans of setting up all the classes? So why is she now becoming his lapdog and doing everything that he says, especially now in such a critical moment? Now would actually be the perfect time for her to expel Ryuuen and ruin Ayanokoji's plans, but she obeyed him because she's afraid Ayanokoji won't face her with all his determination when they're battling. What kind of reason is that? I mean, it's not confirmed if Sakayanagi got expelled or not, but if she didn't, then this whole thing was for nothing. Pretty much. Even if she forfeited, she still technically lost the match, so she should be expelled. It's not that I want her gone, but Kinugasa is the one who set up this whole match in the first place, so it's annoying that he is now trying to find a loophole to get out of the situation that he created. It's just so lame. Again, we don't have the full translation, so if it is that Sakayanagi is going to be expelled, I'll take back what I said, but until then, Ryuuen versus Sakayanagi was a disappointment. Just like Ayanokoji versus Nagamo, it seems like Kinugasa knows how to build up a fight, but he doesn't know how to properly execute it. And honestly, I've kind of just given up on any form of fight that he's setting up. I'm just going to keep my expectations low from this point on. So let me know what you guys think about the translation so far and what your opinions are on Year 2 Volume 12 with the information we've been given. Are you pleased? Are you disappointed? Or are you just indecisive at the moment? Remember to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And also sub to the second channel, which is solely dedicated for Classroom of the Elite content. This is Chuni signing out. Take care, have a wonderful day, and goodbye.